Hi, and finally, after nearly a week, I can say, welcome to another episode of Hot Takes. I want to thank each and every one of you for all the support. It's meant a lot. I was in a very low place on Wednesday especially, and seeing those messages of support lifted me and gave me a high and helped me to fight. I still got a long road to recovery, but the recovery starts now. Getting back in here mentally is helpful. We can get back in, we can fight the good fight, we can fight for the truth, you, me, and everyone else who joins us in this journey towards the truth, wherever it may lay. And so we're back, we're running. I'm only going to start easy. I'm only going to do a few videos today. I'm not going to sort of go and plunge myself deep into the fray from day one. That would be madness. So we're just going to do a few stories today. Obviously, the stories that have passed us by over the last week, which I may go back and revisit, do a little bit of in-depth stuff on, this current stuff, and of course there'll be breaking news. And so I ask all of you who are yet to subscribe to please help the channel. Please press that subscribe button. Let us grow. Let us bring you the truth. Because the truth to me is I have got some absolutely fantastic viewers. This channel is nothing without you. And I tip hat to you. And before we get started, I just want to make good on a promise. Yesterday when I returned and I showed you the most wonderful pair of shorts, and people were asking me to definitely wear them. I said I would, and someone asked me to make sure and prove that I was wearing them. And so, ladies and gentlemen, I present to you these. Let me come out of the way. What are we thinking? Aren't they just magnificent shorts? And what's really weird is they're made out of old plastic, 2-litre plastic drinks bottles. See, recycling works. They're lovely and comfortable as well. Anyway, we will get back to normal. We will start the day with a wonderful story. And that is that the SNP are effectively deadbeat dads. They are so broke that they're actually nearly £300,000 in the red. They've got no money. Support is falling. There's no corporate sponsorship anymore. The people who are dying and leaving the money in the wills are drying up. And yet still they have all these expenses. Expenses which, by any stretch of the imagination, they cannot possibly hope to meet. There needs to be a winding up order. To go this far into the red can only be done at the connivance of banks and backers who are prepared to take the hit. But no political party should leave a bank, in the red and should be allowed to go into the red. And so if anyone puts a bill in and they fail to pay it, they have the right to go to the court and ask for a winding up order. And the court must hear it. This could be the final end of the SNP. And for me, coming out of hospital to see this story, which was, it was actually yesterday morning, and I just obviously couldn't do it. But to see this story, to be in my first story back, it is absolutely wonderful for all of us. So let's go, let's have a look, let's inspect the story, let's see what's going on, and let's see why Humza Yousaf could be the last leader of the SNP as it is dragged down into an economic quagmire. Here goes. So, SNP plunge £800,000 into the red. That's not strictly true. They've had a deficit of £800,000. But anyway, as Peter Murrell still owed £60,000 and the membership slumps. Now, of course, these are from the figures that they were so late in getting in. So we kind of knew the state of play roughly with membership figures. Which of course would cause, really the start. That was the few trickles of sand that led to this massive landslide that's led the SNP to where they are today. It's in a place, if you look on the map, it's just west of the Great Glen, and it's a place called Deep Shit. And they really, truly are up a lock without a bubble. They have got so many problems because they have overspent by £8 £800,000. They didn't have £800,000, and they're nearly £300,000 in the red. And there's no way, as we look at this, you'll see that there's no way they're ever going to be able to get that back. So anyway, SNP plunged £800,000 into the red as Peter Murrell still owed £60,000. So Humza Yousaf's party suffered a tough 2022 finance-wise, as they slumped to an £800,000 deficit, and membership numbers fell by even more than 40,000 people to just 73,936, and I can guarantee it's lower than that now. And this is Treasurer Stuart McDonald blamed on the cost of living crisis, which is only getting harder. So if that was then, you're talking a year on. People aren't any richer. Indeed, with people are worse off. People are far, far worse off. Prices are still rising. Wages aren't meeting them. Taxes, especially in Scotland, are going up at ever increasing rates, and so people don't have the wherewithal to throw a penny in the old man's hat. And so this income stream that the SNP relied on is a barren desert now. That stream has completely dried up. There are carcasses of skeletal cows. It's like the Atacama Desert out there for the SNP. Anyway, the SNP recorded its second largest deficit in 2022 as it spent £800,000 more than it brought in through donations and membership income. And the Nationalist Party still owes shamed former Chief Executive Peter Murrell £60,000, more than half of what he originally loaned them. They should be made to legally pay that back and just get him off the books and away. But of course they can't, can they? They can't. If he wanted, he could actually claim that money, and if they couldn't pay it, he could bring them down overnight. And I think that he has that power, and if he's charged, he could well do it out of spite. And of course they also relied on corporate sponsorship, money coming in from sort of big companies or people involved, like the big bus company, I can't think of his name, but things like that. They used to get money from him. But these corporate guys don't necessarily want to align themselves or be seen to be backing potential criminals, potential embezzlers, potential corporate manslaughterists. They're staying away in droves. The finances are parlous and they're getting worse. And there is no upside to this. And yet the bills keep coming. Humza Yousaf's party racked up this huge spending deficit despite not having any elections to fight over the past year. There's a couple of council elections, but they do have currently, of course, the Rutherglen and Hamilton West. But they're trying to pump people in that, and they're getting the likes of Patrick Grady out there. Oh, Jesus, you're in trouble then, aren't you? And supporters also deserted the SNP as figures slumped from 103,000 at the end of 2021 to just under 74,000 at the end of June 23. And at the end of June 22, it was 82,598. And you can guarantee it's falling all the time because you're going to get the membership letters coming in. Oh, you're a member, do please subscribe, blah, blah, blah. Oh, well, yeah, okay, we just can't do it this year. Number drops. Or there's people actively cancelling because they're looking at what's happening. Number drops. They're losing support. And this is reflected deeply, of course, as we've seen it time and time again. In the polls, we've seen so many polls showing support for the SNP is crumbling away faster than a Norfolk cliff. The official accounts were published on Thursday morning by the Electoral Commission and highlighted pressing financial issues within the nationalist group. Such was the cash drain. It was forced to dip into its reserves, which are now at negative 219,000, and that was at the time of publication. At the time of the end of the financial period. Then you can guarantee it will be way worse now. It's over 300,000 now. It means that the SNP may struggle to pay for the upcoming general election. Oh dear, what a shame! Look at that. Never mind. Move on. Which will be held next year, as they need to return to financial surplus. National Treasurer Stuart McDonald claimed that the cost of living crisis was behind council memberships and admitted the party was facing challenges and uncertainty. It's facing existential failure. It may just stop existing. It is that bad. It has run out of money, run out of steam, run out of ideas, and a long time ago ran out of talent. The SNP have been under investigation by police over an alleged missing 660,000 of ring-fenced independence referendum cash. But we all know about the story here, which we're not going to go too in. But there is other issues involving the actual accounts that were settled. So we won't touch on the 600,000. We've covered it ad nauseum. Anyway, officials have been forced to pay for legal costs relating to this probe, which is looking at alleged embezzlement and fraud, with 178,789 being spent on legal fees, but for people who are no longer members, such as Peter Murrell. Very weird. Former Chief Executive Mr Murrell is still owed £60,000 after he gave them a £107,000 loan in July 2021 to help with the cash flow. Strange that. Why hasn't that been repaid? The accounts show that the SNP recorded back-to-back deficits for the first time since the independence referendum, as they ended up 732,000 in the red in 2021 and 804,000 in 2022. Membership income, and this is absolutely stunning. Membership income slumped from 2.5 million in 2021 to 2.2 million in 2022, while reportable donations fell from nearly 700,000 to 370,000. Now, that is let's say 330,000 pounds drop in donations. £350,000 in donations. There's another 250,000. So over £500,000 a year drop in income. £500,000 a year when your base income was 2.5 million plus 631. So you're losing £500,000 on 6.1. That's nearly 10% drop in income at a time when costs are increasing. When going forward, the costs will continue to increase and your income will continue to fall. And you have to ask, where are the assets? If you've got that money in and that money out, what have you got to show for it? If you've got £300,000 worth of debt at bank and no assets, you're bankrupt. And this party's got no assets. Political parties do often record large deficits in the past, but these are mainly to do with elections, which rack up campaign costs. Yeah, what you do is you build a war chest and you go to the election, you spend, and frequently overspend, and that's fine, provided that within a reasonable time frame after that you regain the money, recoup the money. Let's say within a 12-month period, something like that. I think there is a number, and it's usually within a 12-month period you've recouped any overspend. They haven't for years. This is absolutely appalling. The SNP ended 2016 with a bigger deficit as they went 1.3 into the red, but 2022 is its second highest debt. The difference is after 2016 they had a lot of corporate people going, well done, have some money, and they made that deficit back through donations. They're getting no donations. In his report on the accounts, Mr McDonald said, overall membership payments decreased by 9% during 2022. Public concern about the economy and job security has understandably impacted on membership in 2022, while the soaring cost of living have been given as the reason for cancelling or lowering membership payments. Cancelling is the big one, of course. Cancelling is there. And they are losing members, and it is undoubted a downward trend. It isn't just one-off because of something. It's a downward trend, which is shown in the polls continually. Now, there's a load of them talking old shop and things, which we're not going to bother, alternative means and whatever. By alternative means, they mean let's kill the old people who've left us something in the will, Scottish Conservative chairman Craig Hoy claimed that the accounts painted a grim picture and raised serious questions which the SNP must answer. He added, the auditors highlighted the party's failure to keep a proper record of the income received from donations and fundraisers, which is highly irregular, and means they could provide only a qualified audit. In other words, it wasn't a full audit. It was probably good enough but it wasn't a full audit, and there was a lot of question marks on it. Where did this come from? Who gave you this? And things like that. But more importantly, not where the money came from, but where was the money spent? And they have all these problems of there would be checks raised and there'd be no counterfoil, or there'd be no explanation of what the money was spent for. Just it'll go down something bland, sundry expenses, or campaign fuel or something like that. But there was a lot of them, and that's not how accounts should be. Anyway, it is just getting worse, isn't it? He carried on. He talks a bit more, then he carries on. The SNP should do the right thing and pay off what it owes to disgraced ex-chief executive and finally sever ties with him. His successor, Murray Foot, must now commit to providing full transparency on the SNP's finances as a matter of urgency. Is Craig Hoy having a laugh? There is no way at all that is ever going to happen. We'll just round this off here. Commenting, Scottish Labour Deputy Leader Jackie Bailey said, "The financial chaos now engulfing the SNP goes to show how little the government party can be trusted with Scottish finances. If they can't even run their own accounts right, how on earth can they be trusted with the nation's?" And it is a stunning example of how they simply can't. They've got no credibility. They've got no obvious sign that they can do the job. There's your new treasurer, Stuart MacDonald. I mean, he is an absolute, put it this way, you wouldn't trust him with your granny, They're all dodgy people. And they are the ones that started it with their little cult of Nicola and the secrecy and the lies and the cover-ups. And so, them chickens are coming home to roost. And the eggs don't half stink. And I'm coming up. Oh boy, I enjoyed that. And it's great to be back. But yes, they do have a massive financial problem. They are, by now they're going to be 300,000 in the hole. They don't have the income. They don't have a means of repaying it. And they have a forthcoming election in the next sort of 2 months. Some point in the next 2 months. There's a general election that's a little over a year away. They've still got to pay the staff wages. They've still got to pay the upkeep on the vehicles. They've still got to pay the rent on the buildings. How? It only takes one supplier who fails to get paid, who goes to court, and he can destroy the SNP. It would break your heart, wouldn't it? It would absolutely break your heart. Oh, please do it. Anyway, I'm going to stop there. I've had a good one back, and I do hope that this video I hope you've enjoyed it, and I hope secondly that if you're not a subscriber, that it's been good enough for you to hit that subscribe button to really help the channel and to make us stronger so that we may continue to tell the truth. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. And until next time, stay safe, stay well, which is very, very, very important. And goodbye.